Welcome back, fans. The wait is finally over. Dive back into the epic world of Outlander with the explosive first look at Season 8, Episode 1. New dangers loom, old flames reignite, and time itself hangs in the balance. Don't miss a single heart-stopping moment in this thrilling sneak peek. The highly anticipated return of Outlander is here. Get your first glimpse into Season 8 with the official trailer and sneak peek for Episode 1, coming in 2025. As Jamie and Claire face new challenges, shifting loyalties, and the relentless march of time, this thrilling preview promises more romance, danger, and heart-stopping drama. Will their love survive the trials ahead? Watch now and prepare for the next epic chapter in the Outlander saga. Season 8 kicks off with a gripping first episode centering on themes of legacy, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bonds of love in the face of looming destiny as Jamie and Claire's journey nears its climax. The trailer opens with a slow, ominous pan across the mist-covered highlands, the wind howling through the ruins of a battlefield. A tattered Fraser tartan flutters in the breeze, half buried in the mud. The camera lingers on a blood-stained broadsword, Jamie's embedded in the earth as if marking a grave. A whispered voice-over, Claire's raw with emotion murmurs, "We swore no more blood." But the past doesn't let go so easily. The scene snaps to the present. Jamie stands before a row of freshly dug graves at Fraser's Ridge, his face gaunt in the dawn light. A flashback reveals him in a clandestine meeting with a British officer. The man slides a document across the table, a pardon for treason, stamped with King George's seal. Jamie's hand hesitates over the quill. Cut to Claire watching from the shadows, her expression shattered. The trailer teases a brutal confrontation, Jamie roaring, "I am a Scot first!" as redcoats drag him away in chains, his shirt torn open to reveal the scars of past betrayals. In the surgery, Claire's hands tremble as she uncovers a blackened obsidian shard hidden in her medical chest, its surface swirling with unnatural veins of blue. A vision flickers Jamie lying lifeless in the snow, a bullet wound in his chest. Young Ian bursts in, gripping her arm. The stones are waking, Auntie, and they're hungry. The trailer juxtaposes this with glimpses of Claire racing through the forest at night, the artifact burning her palm as storm clouds gather overhead. In 1980s Boston, Brianna stares at a newspaper spread across her kitchen table. A faded illustration of Fraser's Ridge engulfed in flames. The headline screams, "Lost Settlement Massacre Mystery of the Missing Frasers Solved." Roger slams his fist down, scattering research notes. One reads, "Sandringham's Revenge, 1782. Mandy's off-screen whimper pierces the silence as the camera reveals her clutching a doll wearing a tiny Fraser plaid, now spotted with fresh blood. The screen fades up from black to the sound of ragged breathing. Claire's hands, caked with dirt and blood, dig frantically through the ruins of Fraser's Ridge. A child's doll Mandy's lies trampled in the mud. Suddenly, her fingers brush against cold metal. The obsidian shard pulses with an eerie blue light, casting unnatural shadows across her devastated home. Through the smoke, Jamie emerges. His left arm hangs useless at his side, his shirt soaked with blood. "They took them all," he rasps, his voice breaking. "The children Fergus." A flash of redcoats dragging prisoners through burning fields. Marcelly screams as soldiers tear Jemmy from her arms. Cut to Boston. In 1985, Brianna stands frozen before a museum display. Behind glass lies Claire's medical kit, her wedding ring, and a yellowed document labeled Last Testament of James Fraser. Roger's hand shakes as he holds up a newspaper. Mass grave discovered at historic Fraser property. Back in the past, young Ian stumbles through the forest, clutching a gaping wound. He collapses at the base of Cray Na Dun, where the stones now ooze a thick, dark liquid. "They're not what we thought," he whispers as the camera reveals dozens of fresh graves dotting the hillside, each marked with a Fraser name. The final image, Claire standing at the stones, her body half consumed by the blue light, reaching for Jamie as he's dragged away by soldiers. Their fingertips nearly touch as the storm outside mirrors the tempest between them. Rain lashes through the shattered windows of what was once their sanctuary at Fraser's Ridge. The fire in the hearth has long since died, leaving only the acrid scent of wet ash and blood in the air. Jamie stands silhouetted against the lightning-lit window, his broad shoulders slumped with exhaustion, his left arm hanging useless at his side, where a musket ball grazed him 3 days prior. Claire's medical bag lies spilled across the floor, its contents, her modern instruments, the obsidian shard, and vials of precious penicillin scattered like the fragments of their trust. "You would bargain with the devil himself," Claire spits, her voice raw from smoke and screaming. Her hands tremble not from fear, but from the unnatural energy still coursing through her veins after touching the stone. "After everything we've fought for, everything we've lost, you'd make a pact with those murdering bastards?" Jamie turns slowly, the new scar on his brow pulling taut as he grimaces. "To save what remains of our family, I," without hesitation. His eyes, usually so full of warmth, have gone the cold gray of Highland granite. "Or would you have me watch them hang Jemmy next? See Marcelise bairn sold off like cattle?" The accusation hangs between them like a noose. Claire recoils as if struck, her back hitting the splintered doorframe. For 20 years, she's fought to remake this time, to bend history itself to keep them safe. Now, her own husband stands as her greatest obstacle. "You don't understand what the stone can do," she whispers, clutching the pulsating shard so tightly her palm bleeds. "I could undo it all, Culloden. Wentworth, the whole damned." Jamie moves faster than his wound should allow, his hand closing around her wrist with enough force to make her gasp. The veins in his arms stand out like cords as he pries her fingers open, one by one. "You'll undo yourself," he roars, his breath hot against her face. "I've watched you walk through fire, through war, through time itself. But this is madness, woman." Between them, the eerie glow of the obsidian pulsates faster, as it clatters to the ground, as if taking advantage of their fury. Images of Jamie lying dead in the snow, Brianna screaming as she is consumed by flames, and a younger Claire disappearing into the stones, never to be seen again, appear on its fractured surface. Claire shakes her chest as she breaks free. "You don't get to make my decisions. Not after all we've survived together." Her voice drops to a broken whisper. "Not until I was finally able to fix everything." Lightning strikes so close the cabin shakes. Jamie's face reveals anguish in the sudden white flash. "Do you not see?" He reaches out to grab her, scrubbing the silver streak on her temple with his fingers. "Every scar, every loss they brought you here. To me, to now." His thumb smears blood across her cheekbone. "I won't gamble your soul on maybe." The present moment stretches like a bowstring. Then Claire does something that she has never done in their years of being together. She strikes him. The slap echoes like a gunshot. Jamie doesn't flinch. The mark of her hand blooms red across his stubbled cheek, but his gaze never wavers. Slowly, deliberately, he closes the distance between them until her fists are pressed against his chest, his heartbeat thundering beneath her knuckles. He murmurs against her lips, "Choose the past or me. But know this, if you go, I'll follow. Through time, through death, through all the hells you've ever feared." His arms encircle her, not in restraint, but in surrender. The only remaining promise is that the wind howls outside like the ghosts of everything that could have been. The obsidian shard flares once, then goes dark. Claire's knees buckle, But Jamie is there, always there, catching her as she finally breaks. And in the stillness between one heartbeat and the next, the fight leaves them both. There will be battles tomorrow against the British, against Simon Fraser, against time itself. But this war between their hearts is over. The choice was never really a choice at all. The screen fades to black after Claire's outstretched hand disappears into the blinding light of the standing stones. For 3 agonizing heartbeats, there is only silence. Then, the sharp cry of a newborn cuts through the darkness. We fade up on a close-up of Jamie's blood-streaked face as his eyes fly open. We don't recognize the battlefield where he is kneeling in the mud. The sky burns an unnatural crimson. He's surrounded by resurrected soldiers in uniforms from different eras, their wounds healing before our eyes. A Continental soldier sits up beside a World War II infantryman, both equally confused. The obsidian shard is now embedded in Claire's chest, like a second heart, pulsing with blue fire, as the camera moves back to show her standing atop a crumbling stone dais. Her hair whips in a wind that touches nothing else. Below her, Jamie struggles to rise, his hand reaching desperately toward her as time itself seems to fracture around them. A child's laughter echoes. The camera whips around to show young Jimmy, untouched by the chaos, playing with stones that float in midair. When he looks up, his eyes glow the same eerie blue as Claire's shard. "Don't worry, Granda," he says cheerfully. "Ma says it's not really time travel. It's time to get up." The ground begins to shake. The swirling vortexes within the standing stones are revealed when the stones break open like eggs. From one emerges a familiar figure, not Frank, but a younger version of Jamie himself, fresh from Culloden, his eyes wild with battle fury. From another steps a Claire we don't recognize, her hair dark, her clothes from another century entirely. Our Jamie roars in wordless denial as the fractures multiply, dozens of versions of himself and Claire appearing in flashes. Some happy, broken parts, some barely human. The original Claire turns her head slowly toward the camera, tears of blood tracking down her cheeks. "It's all true," she whispers. "Every story, every life." The screen explodes into blinding white. When the light fades, we're left with a single image, Brianna in 1980's Boston, staring at her drafting table where blueprints for a mysterious machine are laid out. She shakes her hand as she picks up a picture of her parents in contemporary attire that shouldn't be there. The date scrawled on the back reads 2025. As the Outlander logo appears, it doesn't fade to black, but to an endless corridor of mirrors, each reflecting a different possible future, a different version of their story. Roger's voice, soft with wonder, is the last thing we hear. Oh, God. We weren't changing time at all. We were thinking back on it. Claire's fingertips brush the standing stone as the screen fades into a swirling mist. The air crackles with energy, her auburn hair lifting as if caught in an unseen storm. Suddenly silence. Absolute stillness. Jamie's wedding ring shines as he reaches out through the mist. However, what he has grasped is unclear when he pulls back. He holds a brittle, folded piece of parchment in his palm. As it unfurls, the camera closes in on elegant, familiar handwriting. "My dearest Jamie, I have already failed if you are reading this. The stones do not send us through time. They show us the lives we might have lived. All of them at once. And somewhere in one of those worlds." The words blur as raindrops strike the page. Jamie's breath hitches. Behind him, the forest echoes with ghostly whispers, fragments of conversations from 100 possible futures. A child's laughter. A gunshot. Claire screaming his name. A single candle flickers to life, illuminating Brianna's face in 1980's Boston. She's staring at a wall covered in overlapping sketches, blueprints of standing stones, equations that defy physics, and at the center, a child's drawing of two stick figures holding hands, one labeled Mama, the other De. The trip through the ages is not over. Neither is ours. If your heart raced watching this Outlander Season 8 sneak peek, imagine what's coming next. Subscribe now and hit the bell so you never miss breakdown videos, Easter eggs, theories, and book to show comparisons, exclusive trailer reactions, live chats, and behind-the-scenes insights. Episode recaps because no one should suffer these cliffhangers alone. Your turn, Warriors of Time. Comment below what broke you most in this trailer: Jamie's sacrifice, Claire's choice, that haunting final whisper. Smash like if you're ready for Season 8's emotional storm. Share with your clan. Tag a fellow Outlander addict who needs to suffer with you. The stones are waking, and so is our fandom. Stay close. History is about to repeat.